KBLA Top 1580, good morning and God bless. Happy Friday. I'm Dominique DiPrima. The show is First Things First, my first thing every day, every week, every year, giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from the Most High. Asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders and getting it started, doing this thing, this talk radio thing. Let's talk about it. Man, it is the last Friday before we cast our votes. If you haven't cast yours already, you're always welcome in. Call me 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. We'll focus local, hour 1, hour 2, national and beyond. Lots and lots of space for your phone calls. There are no judges or politicians today in the second hour. In hour 3, we'll hear from some folks on Measure ULA, and we'll be talking with Roland Martin as well. He's got a lot to say about these midterms. We'll be speaking with Danny Tabor and Laura Raymond. So lots to do, lots to unpack. Right now, though, I'm being joined by one of my favorite partners in politics. She is a human and civil rights attorney with a specialty in criminal defense since going back to 94 when she was 2. She graduated from Cornell University, got a law degree from UCLA, and she is currently the executive director of Black Alliance for Just Immigration. Attorney Nana Gyamfi, good morning.
Good morning. I was a smart 2-year-old. Goodness gracious.
You were. Yes, you were. And a very accomplished 21-year-old now. Attorney Gyamfi, how you doing? How are you feeling? There's so much going on. I'm sure that impacts you aside from, always there's an election with Baji, Black Alliance for Just Immigration. This conversation in the city council and all of the implications of gerrymandering and community division and immigrant issues has to be making your life quite busy right now.
It's definitely quite busy. I'm feeling hopeful, and at the same time, there is some level of let's get it on, I wouldn't call it anxiety, I'd call it let's get it on, just because I'm really clear that the way that folks are moving right now, we really have to take a stand. In terms of just holding the line politically, and what direction is this country going in? Because this is not going to be one where you win the game and then you walk away and the other side feels so defeated they crawl into a hole. Thinking about what's happening in Brazil, and this is part of the benefit that we have as Baji of having folks from all over the world, right? We are looking at what's happening all over the world at the same time, not just U.S. focused. And you see what happened with the far white, you know what I'm saying, right? Trump-loving president of Brazil, Bolsonaro, who was just defeated by definitely left-wing president, and how the people responded, like his people, without him even asking them to. It blocked up all the streets, closed down basically all the roads going in and out of the airport. Like they didn't say, oh, we lost and went into a corner. And even when he came back out, he didn't say, oh, I admit defeat and go into a corner. And I think that we have to be prepared to win and then to really hold the line at our wins and to deal with the white lash from those wins.
Yeah, hoping we get some wins at that. But I think it's a good point. We had a side conversation, you and I, about the difference between organizing and protesting, and really talking about how maybe we need to pivot a little bit more as activists into organizing, and not that we wouldn't protest, but just really understanding the difference, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. We have to have a base. When I think about what happened, we talk about what happened with LA City Council and the ways in which Black people clearly in that recording were not just attacked in terms of our human dignity, but also our rights, right? The right to be represented. This clear conversation about how we're going to go after these Black districts. And we think about what was said about the Oaxacan people. And I can't help but notice, and I give a lot of praise to the Oaxacan people, to our sister Odelia, with Cielo and with the Oaxacan Regional Organization, Oro. They got 100 plus Oaxacans in front of City Hall, protesting and speaking out in the way that they were doing. Press conference, dancing, bringing the culture and the politics. And I don't think there's been a space where we've had 100 black people yet. Not 100 people, not 100 allies of black people. I'm talking about 100 black people saying this is unacceptable and we're not going, things aren't going to be business as usual while these two people, Cedillo and De Leon, are still council members. And that's an issue. It lets me know that we just got a lot of base building to do, myself and my org included, or our org included. We got a lot to do.
Got a lot to do. We got a lot to talk about. You're welcome to engage. That's what we encourage you to do always. 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. We are KBLA Talk 1580, unapologetically progressive.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Hey, California, abortion rights are literally on your ballot this year. Voting yes on Prop 1 protects your personal health care decisions by putting the fundamental right to abortion and the fundamental right to choose or refuse contraception into the state constitution. So no judge, no politician, and no ban can restrict your decision-making about basic health care services. If you agree that everyone deserves the respect and dignity to make the decisions that are right for them and their families, vote yes on Prop 1 and mail back your ballot by November 8th. No stamp needed. Together with the Black Project and the California Legislative Black Caucus, will demand reproductive freedom and protect abortion rights for generations to come. Vote yes on Prop 1. Ad paid for by Yes on Proposition 1, supported by healthcare organizations, Planned Parenthood affiliates of California, and Senator Tony Atkins Ballot Measure Committee. Committee major funding from Federated Indians of Creighton Rancheria.
Where can you find gifts for anyone and holiday inflatables for any home? Lowe's, actually. Save big on top tool brands like your choice of the DeWalt 20-volt Max Drill Kit or Impact Driver Kit. Was $159, now $99. All backed by the Lowe's Price Promise. Plus, outdoor inflatables starting at $22.98. Check back daily for deals during Black Friday month and start saving now at Lowe's. Home to any possibility. Offer valid through 11/9 while supplies last. Terms apply. Learn more at Lowe's.com/price promise.
Anthony was working a dead-end job.
I was surviving, but I wasn't getting ahead anymore.
A friend told him about My Computer Career.
She's like, I'm already in the program. She's like, you'd be crazy if you don't do it. So I jumped right in and have not regretted it.
Anthony did it all online.
All you got to do is have an internet connection, and you can do it.
Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
You need to check out My Computer Career. If it worked for me, it'll definitely work for you.
mycomputercareer.edu. Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Attorney Nana Gyamfi is my partner in politics this morning, and we are really just days away now from the last day to vote, which is Tuesday. I like to call it the last day to vote, not Election Day. And there's a lot going on. I want to point out that I'll be doing, and this is separate from KBLA, even though it's on KBLA, I will be doing a meetup at the headquarters of Karen Bass on La Brea on Saturday. I'll be there tomorrow, 9 a.m. And I'll be broadcasting. This is me, Dominique DiPrima, the individual citizen who wants you to vote for Karen Bass and walk and door knock and tell a friend for Karen Bass and register your teenage sons and daughters and, all that. I'll be there at 9 a.m. If you want to meet me there. I'll be there from 9 to 11. Come hang out. We'll be broadcasting. I'll be signing folks up, et cetera, et cetera. The views and opinions expressed on what I just said are not those of station management. They're those of Dominique DiPrima. Also, I'm going to be, we talked with Isaiah Washington yesterday. He's got an independent film called Corsicana about Bass Reeves, and it's truly independent. It's at Cinemark Theater, which is a huge accomplishment for anybody, let alone anybody black. I'll be hosting a panel discussion after the 7:20 screening on Saturday. So if you want to come see the film and then let's chop it up, I'll be hosting. Isaiah Washington will be on the panel along with some others from the film. So that should be great. And Tavis Smiley is doing one on tonight. Those are at the Cinemark Baldwin Hills. So we're standing up in support of this independent producer who happens to be a movie star. And we hope to see you there for some robust discussion. Attorney Nana Gyamfi, speaking of that, your commentary about organizing and also about what happened in the city council, what's happening with the city council crisis. I'm concerned that we, the activists, are distracted, that folks are not door knocking, that they're not giving their last dollar. If you look at the poll information that came out today in the LA Times, they're saying that Bass is still ahead, which is pretty miraculous considering that she's had almost $100 million bashing her. But it's still, now they're saying it's only 4 points. It's 45 to 41% among likely voters. 13% are undecided. How are you undecided after almost $100 million in, ads and misinformation being flung around, and you still haven't made up your mind? Okay. What's your takeaway here?
Well, I don't know that we're being distracted. I think we can do a lot of things at once. For example, with Baji, we had a conversation. We've been involved every day that City Council has sessions. We're part of the folks that are protesting and are trying to shut down City Council, or at least disrupt enough to make a difference. As in the tradition and legacy of our ancestors, both here and around the world. And so that's happening, and I invite folks to be in touch with us if you want to join us and, make sure that we can at least get 100 Black folks to be in these spaces. But we then had a conversation, for example, this week with Black migrant leaders from across the city that represent both African-American leaders as well as leaders in the Black immigrant, community, and talked about the city council piece and what is Black power and what does that mean in the context of Black political power. And then yesterday we had 3 hours of get out the vote and go through the ballot measures and let's have a better understanding of what's happening. So we can do it all, particularly if we are engaged in that organizing and base building I was talking about, because then it's not just 1 or 2 people or 25 Black folks.
Well, right. That's understood, but if you look at they're saying the Caruso campaign has a robust field operation. Yeah, because they're paying people like a whole bunch of money to go knock on doors, whereas we are volunteers knocking on doors. He spent $13 million. You can get 300 to 400 people to knock on doors if you got $13 million to spend. What's interesting in this poll, too, though, Attorney Gyamfi, is that it shows that Bass is not losing voters to these ads. Caruso is gaining them. So he's getting conservatives and Republicans fired up to vote. He's getting so-called undecided independent voters who are usually Republicans in disguise. And he's trending really well with Latinos who are not the Latinos that were already supporting Bass. So you're talking about the ones who probably actually think he is Latin, since he said that at the debate, which is not the truth.
Yes, but I think it's important to remember a couple of things. First of all, we have examples. When we think about the squad seems so obvious, and, Karen Bass is not the squad, clearly. However, but it makes the point even more, right, because they are to the left of Karen. And in some cases, they were fighting both Republicans and establishment Democrats. And it was clear that Ilhan Omar, the AOC, Presley, like these people were not supposed to make it. And they did. And not only have they continued to make it, but they've added to it. Why? Because it's one thing when we talk about polling. Hello, 2016. It's another thing when we talk about who's actually showing up at the polls. And so that's the piece that we keep pushing. Show up at the polls. I don't know who's getting these requests in terms of polling. We're asking leadership within Black migrant world. Ain't nobody polled us, So, I think folks should let the polls be incentive, but, it's flight, fight, or freeze. Don't freeze, right? Don't flee. fight. Show up to these polls, and I think that people are going to do that. And I think that what happened at City Council in terms of this recording and sort of the revelations that have come out, since that time period are inspiring people to say no, particularly in our communities. Oh no, we got to do something. If we were sitting back, maxing and relaxing, we know that we can't do that.
Well, it's interesting that so much of Caruso's advertising is in Spanish, and he claims now that Italian is Latin, because according to the polling, Latino, a month ago, Karen Bass led among Latino likely voters by 6 points, and now she's behind by 17 points, which means those Spanish ads full of misinformation and lies are working. He's gone after.
Not just them, though.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say he's gone after low-information Latino voters in Spanish and, being Senor Ricardo Caruso, and they're, folks are buying the lies.
I think that is part of it, but, and again, I know I keep talking back to this LA City Council thing, but, all of these things connect for me. As long as Kevin DeLeon and Gil Cedillo, but particularly Kevin DeLeon, are on the council, people are going to be protesting. Like, you can't do what you did and stay on the council, right? And as long as that happens, there are going to be people within the Latino, Latinx community who are going to say, oh, you see, they don't want us to have power. And Caruso, you got to know, is leaning in on that.
Yeah.
And that's part of the message that I'm trying to give, particularly to the progressive city council people, is look, get this over with. Break quorum, stop city council business, get into the communities, go back to your communities, talk with folks about the city council piece, put the pressure on in all your back doorways, but you've got to get this done, because the closer we get to this election with Kevin DeLeon still on and getting, beat up about it, the more you're going to have those, what I call Whitino voters, as well as those voters that you've described who may not know, and get confused, pushing in the direction of Caruso.
Yeah, good point, Saul. I also think that, a lot of people just aren't getting the message about who Caruso is. Can you imagine if this was flipped and Bass had $100 million to talk about how Rick Caruso's dad got rich by ripping off Black and Latino people with his dollar rent-a-car, not just the rent-a-car, but also dealerships that he owned, and actually did jail time for that? That's what he went to jail for, ripping off Black and Latino voters. Can you imagine if she had $100 million to say every single day that Rick Caruso claims he pays taxes but refuses to show his tax returns, claims that he pays taxes on the yacht, and yet Mike Feuer, who was running for city attorney, uncovered the fact that that yacht is registered in the Cayman Islands. So where are you paying taxes to? Are you paying them to the Cayman Islands, or are you paying them to the United States of America? And honestly, Cayman Islands is a famous tax dodge location. If we had $100 million to tell the truth about Rick Caruso, who is, I don't care. My mom's Italian. Italians are white. I'm sorry. They may have proximity to Africa, but they are definitely white, in white being a social construct. But when we come forward after news, traffic, and sports, I want you to put on your attorney hat and tell me how he can do that. Like, how does he have kids on the yacht and no repercussion, kids on the yacht yelling the N-word, calling Maxine Waters the N-word? Why are none of these things legal issues? It's KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Mike Moore, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. NBA Brooklyn Nets star African-American Kyrie Irving is apologizing for a social media post last week that promoted a film featuring anti-Semitic tropes. His apology on Instagram last night came hours after the Nets suspended him for 5 games. Irving refused to unequivocally say that he has no anti-Semitic beliefs. He acknowledged the documentary contained some false anti-Semitic statements, but says he has no intentions to disrespect Jewish cultural history and that he takes full accountability for his actions. Now to former President Donald Trump, who is more than hinting at a run for the presidency in 2024. He told a crowd in Iowa last night that he will very, very, very probably do it again. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Next Spend All Access. Get the mobile banking account with perks that add up. Banking services provided by an account established by Pathward and a member is subject to registration and ID verification. Terms and costs apply.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Brooklyn Nets guard Kyrie Irving finally apologized, but it was too late. The Nets suspended Irving for 5 games without pay for promoting an anti-Jewish documentary on his Twitter page. The Nets and NBA Commissioner Adam Silver had been trying for several days to get Irving to apologize for his controversial post. The post on Irving's Twitter page has been taken down. The 5-game suspension will cost Irving about $1.9 million of his $33 million salary this season. One of the games he will miss is the November 12th game against the Clippers here in L.A. The Houston Astros are one victory away from winning the World Series. Game 6 against the Philadelphia Phillies is Saturday night in Houston. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. This sports report was brought to you by MVP Accident Attorneys. When it comes to your settlement, we'll slam dunk. Call 833-MVP-WINS or check their website at themvp.com for a free case review.
When you're the victim of a car accident, hiring the right law firm can be the difference between a rewarding settlement and striking out. Call the pros at MVP Accident Attorneys at 833-MVP-WINS for your free consultation.
Call me your
have power represented here today, and I come to ask you to go all out to get every no in this county registered to vote. Just see what a power you can be. Then after getting people registered, that is another even greater responsibility, and that is to go out to vote. Once more, we have the opportunity to send to the Congress of the United States competent, qualified, dedicated black men and women. Let us march on ballot boxes so somehow we will be able to develop that day. Men will have food and material necessities for their body, freedom and dignity for their spirit, education and culture for their mind.
Paid for by the African American Voter Registration, Education, and Participation Project.
The LA Times compared the homelessness plans of Karen Bass and Rick Caruso. What do they say about Bass's homelessness plan? They call it far smaller than Caruso. And the LA Times' Steve Lopez called the Bass plan underwhelming before. Bass says she won't even solve the homelessness problem after 4 years. It's more of the same empty City Hall talk. The LA Times says Rick Caruso's plan is bigger, with 30,000 beds in 300 days, hundreds of thousands of new affordable homes, a dramatic increase in mental health and addiction services, and 500 new sanitation workers to clean up our streets.
I want to wake up every day and fight for you, because this city is worth fighting for.
Fix homelessness now. Rick Caruso for mayor. Paid for by Rick Caruso for mayor 2022 general. Additional information is available at ethics.lacity.org.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the page, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Well, maybe it's two legal questions for you, Attorney Nana Jamfi. One, I posed before the break. To me, it seems like if I've got a yacht registered in the Cayman Islands, and which I claim to be paying taxes on, probably is somewhere. If I have, the one of the Varsity Blues, one of the young kids whose parents lied to get them into USC, and I'm the USC president, and they're on my yacht when the story breaks. If I have kids on my yacht screaming out the N-word, if I've called Maxine Waters the B word in public, how are none of these legal problems?
Yeah, these are not legal problems because the law is not often about justice. Those two things don't go together. So in this country, as you know, people, this free speech, quote unquote, issue is used by so many folks that are racist, that are sexist, that are homophobic, transphobic, etc., to allow them to do what they want to do. I mean, we were in August recently at the Committee for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination, and this is a UN body questioning the United States. They do it every 7 years in terms of this big questioning about that particular type of issue. Like, how do you allow that to happen? And, they just shrugged their shoulders, the U.S. delegation, and they were like, that's the American way. We believe in free speech, and if you hear things that you don't like, it's okay. And then, of course, we see who that's true for and who that's not true for, which is a whole other conversation.
Right.
Legal-wise,
yeah.
No, it doesn't, that's...
Kyrie Irving gets suspended, but, and he didn't even directly call somebody a name, but if you're Rick Caruso, you can call Maxine Waters a B word, and, few feathers get ruffled, but you get to still cast yourself as a hero. No one's questioning why were those kids chanting the N-word on this man's yacht. Why did it just so happen that one of the children who pretended to be a rower and her parents paid $500,000 to get her into USC just so happened to be on the USC president's yacht, somewhere out of the jurisdiction of the United States when the charges were announced, huh?
And you think about the fact that when you look at what's happening, for example, with MRT and his son, et cetera, that was triggered by Caruso. So, again, it's like, wow, you're so interested in certain people and how they got into spaces, but you're not interested in other people, Caruso, and how they got into spaces. And, in your same USC purview or kingdom, and I think that's important. But I think that this is the reason, again, that it's so important that we make sure to model and speak up for the world that we want to see. As you know, Dominique, we as Baji led this letter with Union de Vecinos to look at, with Kevin DeLeon, and Gil Cedillo, not just from the perspective of City Council, but what does this say about how we're moving forward and what solidarity really means and what the world is that we're looking at and whether we really want a multiracial democracy that's talking about justice and freedom and how we all can thrive. And really pleased on October 25th that we were able to present a letter that had this immigrant rights movement, which is so much the support structure for all of those folks that you heard in that recording, come out really strongly, from the Churlas to the Caracens, to the California Immigration Policy Center, Dr. Manuel Pastor, like all of these people, Victor Nato over at UCLA, all of these people coming out and saying, no, actually, we don't want leaders that are calling people the N-word, that are dividing us, that are making it appear as if black people don't matter, that black power is not important, that affirmed that progressive power is black power, centered black power, that black people are not, erasable, that black people are essential. And we've got to just keep pushing that, because it's not the law that's going to make these changes. It's going to be us.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people in our community didn't even know about that letter. As you said, a lot of these immigrant rights organizations, they're in LA, a lot of them are primarily Latino. And this letter was released in Spanish and English, and many of the groups that you named may not even be familiar to some black folks. So these are immigrant rights groups that are primarily led by Latinos, and who have supported Kevin De Leon and Gil Cedillo and Nuri Martinez in the past.
Exactly. These are folks that have supported in the past with the understanding that, hey, we are trying to, make sure that we're represented as community, that they're trying to make sure that they have people that are concerned about their issues. And we're hoping that these folks were, amongst those people, they're champions. And we're just really disappointed in, obviously, what they found out that they really were about. And they knew, we as Baji, we work with these folks all the time, and we said it's important for it to be clear, not just that you think that these people should resign, not just that you think that, what you heard was unacceptable, but that you are committed to a different way, that you understand that solidarity is not an act of charity, that solidarity is an act of mutual aid in which we are bringing our forces together to bring forth this world that we're all going to benefit from. And we were very specific. Folks can go to Baji's website at baji.org. You can look on our socials. We're posting some slides and some graphics that bring out some specific points. But it's a really strong letter. It is not a lightweight letter. It comes down hard. It draws the line because we understood as Baji that needed to happen in this moment. Otherwise, you're going to have folks like Caruso pulling people in this other direction.
Yeah, and those folks, it's just like what we saw at the encampment when the BLM encampment was in front of De Leon's house. And, some Latino folks he sent up there to intimidate the protesters ended up joining the protest in solidarity once they had a conversation with black folks on the ground there. And I should say also some Latino folks on the ground there. But I love this one line. You say, we build collective power by renouncing the bigotry that only serves to divide us. So emphasizing the idea that it's not really, you get power or we get power, but we are most effective in advocating, as you say, for mutual aid when we stand in solidarity.
Absolutely. When we had the press conference, Leonardo, who spoke from Union de Vecinos, and then we had our comrade Megan, who spoke from ADEPSCA. And ADEPSCA is day laborers, the folks that we think of so squarely when we're talking about so many of the Latino folks that are in Los Angeles and in our communities. And she just spoke fiercely, clearly about how, no, we got to deal with the anti-blackness, and talked about how with her organization, they dropped everything and had a meeting. She said it was not pretty, it was not cute. We had to have a couple of meetings because I need to make sure that people were on the same page about how we are with black people, how we wouldn't be in the position we are in if it were not for the struggles of black people, not in the past, but even up until today. So we're not playing that game, and really came out strongly to talk about how we need to be thinking about our dealings with each other. And I think as we look at this election, this is part of what this election is about. It's not just about, rah-rah, I think this person is fine, or I think this person sounds good and talks really well. It's about what is the Los Angeles we want to see? What does it look like? And not that elections make that happen. As we're figuring out how we're moving forward, there are two different visions, and that's going to lead to two different realities, and we've got to decide which side we're on.
Attorney Nana Gyamfi is with me, and you're welcome to join 800-920-1580. It's KBLA. We are Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
The youngest person to witness George Floyd's murder releases a children's book. Maisha Cairo here with your K-Black Minute News. Mid-October, 11-year-old Judea Reynolds celebrated what would have been George Floyd's 49th birthday with the release of a children's book called A Walk to the Store. Reynolds shares her perspective about the traumatic day when she watched George Floyd get murdered. She was only 9 years old. The incident caused the child to experience consistent crying and bad dreams at night. She also spoke on the witness stand during the trial. She wanted to encourage triumph in trauma, and her book will act as a resource for others. Readers can get access to worksheets with exercises provided by Aruba Emotional Health Services to help them process trauma. Wow, amazing. I'm Maisha Cairo, and we are unapologetically progressive.
Bill Gatlin, Vice President of the San Pedro Wilmington, Palos Verdes Peninsula NAACP branch. I am supporting Danielle Sandoval for the Los Angeles City Council. Tim McCoster's campaign is using bullying and intimidating tactics against local businesses and local individuals who don't support him. We need a healer, not a divider. I am giving my full support to Danielle Sandoval for Los Angeles City Council and rescinding my endorsement for Tim McCosker.
Paid for by Sandoval for LA Committee ID 145002.
Roll out. The all-new Gardena Nissan is proud to be a partner of KBLA, and right now during their fall sales event, Zero Down delivers any new or pre-owned car at Gardena Nissan. They're located conveniently on Redondo Beach Boulevard at Western, and they specialize in helping folks out who have no credit, bad credit, bankruptcies, or repos. The folks at Gardena Nissan will take fantastic care of you and help you get into the car you need and deserve at a spectacular price. Visit them today or shop online at GardinaNissan.com. The all-new Gardena Nissan is proud to be a partner of KBLA, and right now during their fall sales event, Zero Down delivers any new or pre-owned car at Gardena Nissan. For the best deals, log on to GardinaNissan.com. Zero Down on the Nissan.com.
Roll out. This is KBLA Talk 1580, where everybody is somebody and nobody is a stray. You belong here.
Talking with attorney Nana Gyamfi. She's the head of the organization called Baji, Black Alliance for Just Immigration. You can follow them on all the socials, especially on Twitter. I think it's called, it's Baji Tweet or something. I follow you, so I don't remember. Attorney Gyamfi.
At Baji Tweet. Yes,
Baji Tweet.
At Baji Tweet, at InstaBaji, and we're also on Facebook.
That's BAJI. Let's go to Lynette calling us from LA. Good morning, Lynette.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my call. Reparations in memory of our ancestors, and we know that the struggle continues, but always to God be the glory. And, I'm kind of reminded of South Africa with the Truth and Reconciliation that happened. In fact, South Africa just started giving back the land to the people. So I hear about it almost a month ago, instead of those squatters, right? But anyway, I think something has to happen with our city council, with our government in general, because the fascists have really gotten us away from our own humanity in this country and government, and that anti-black stuff is a byproduct of this. And also, we might have to have like a mayor, vice mayor, expansion of the LA city council and things like that, because this is a very populous city, and all races, colors, persuasions, male, female, has to be represented. And we got to shut down the right wing fascists. They live in a parallel universe. It's all white, and if it ain't white, it ain't right. And it's like, wait a minute, these are the same folks that's climate change deniers. So this is affecting everybody. They don't want a woman to have an abortion, even if she's 9 and 10 years old with a baby, okay? Even if she got health problems, and the little 9-year-olds and 10-year-olds is on the rise with these pregnancies by these men, and that's a whole nother subject. But, they don't want people to have their student loans. I mean, this is, they're anti-apartment renters, These folks are not good at all for the planet.
All right, Lynette, we'll get Attorney Nana Gyamfi's response when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where we turn red lights to green lights and keep it moving.
Experienced, dedicated with a strong commitment to justice, Cheryl C. Turner is your clear-cut choice for California State Senate District 28. Cheryl C. Turner will work tirelessly to improve District 28 until we accomplish what is best for our community. Ms. Turner will work to represent District 28, its residents, and make it a better, safer, and healthier place to live. She will truly address the COVID-19 crisis impact on jobs, housing, education, and the economy. Vote for Cheryl C. Turner for California State Senate District 28. Ms. Turner's legal background will enable her to propose, evaluate, and advocate for laws that will benefit District 28, which include Ladera, View Park, Baldwin Hills, Leimert Park, Century City, and Culver City. Her history of public service to this community ensures that she will look out for our best interests. Make the right choice. Vote for Cheryl C. Turner for California State Senate District 28.
This is Cheryl Turner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Turner for Senate 2022.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey. Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This Sunday and every Sunday is the African Marketplace and Drum Circle Community Market. Get free groceries, essential resources, and buy black from local merchants of arts, beauty, custom black merchandise, and more. Choose from a wide variety of cuisines, clothing, jewelry, and a lot more. Experience the true essence of Africatown at Leimert Park every Sunday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Join the drum circle, dance, enjoy live performances, connect with other conscious black people. Experience black excellence every Sunday in Africatown at Leimert Park. You can find us on Degnan Boulevard near Vernon and Crenshaw in the heart of Africatown at Leimert Park. That's the African Marketplace and Drum Circle Community Market. Join us for music, shopping, food, and fun this and every Sunday. Support black business. Recycle black dollars and feed your soul. The African Marketplace and Drum Circle Community Market every Sunday in Africatown at Leimert Park. Brought to you by Africatown Enterprise and the African Village Vendors Association.
Come on, we're going to be late to the cookout.
I was just packing up my famous mac and cheese.
I hope you packed the Pepto, too.
Huh?
Pepto-Bismol provides fast relief from heartburn and indigestion. You know, that uncomfortable feeling after you eat too much? And after the deviled eggs, baked beans, and barbecue ribs? You're going to need it.
Barbecue ribs? I should probably pack an extra shirt, too.
Good call.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Pepto-Bismol. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
When it comes to LA's next mayor, who can we trust to stand up for our community? Democrat Karen Bass. Unlike her opponent, Karen Bass has always been a Democrat, fighting for principles like fairness, justice, and equal rights. She's not a billionaire real estate developer who only comes around during election time. Karen Bass has never left our side or forgotten where she came from. Take it from someone who knows.
This is Stevie Wonder. And you know what? Today, there should be no confusion. Los Angeles needs real principled leadership. We need someone who is who they say they are, with or without a hot microphone. We need someone who has been consistent with who they are in principle, party affiliation, and government service. No surprises with Karen Bass. She is who she's always been, a real honest leader. Vote Karen Bass.
Paid for by Karen Bass for Mayor 2022 General. More information at ethics.lacity.org.
Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio. KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney Nana Gyamfi is with me, and Lynette was on fire. You heard her. You want to respond to anything she said?
Just a couple of things. I think, firstly, once we get these two council people off, De Leon and Cedillo, and City Council goes back to being legitimately continuing with this business, one of the first courses of business needs to be an investigation of everything from that redistricting process to all of these various laws, whether it be with rental protections, unhoused folks, criminalization, like it's all on the table that these folks have been involved in, since we know those of their biases did, move their actions. And then in terms of the expansion of the city council, I'm not a fan. I feel like that just is going to create more seats for more people who are not black. It's only so many black people in the city, and I don't know how you cut us up in a way that's going to somehow give us more power. I think we get more power by exercising power, whether that's elections, whether that's civic engagement, going to city council meetings. On the days that city council is happening right now to shut it down. Those are the kinds of things that are going to give black people power.
Yeah. Interesting. You're the second person on the show recently who said that often cited solution of expanding the city council is not going to help black folks.
No, it's not going to help black people. It's going to help other people in good form. But we're talking about increasing black political power. How is that going to help us? So we only have one district that even has close to a good number of black people. We're going to cut that district more, and then these other districts are going to be cut. There's going to be 25 black people in per district. That's not going to work out.
What I want to commend you on your leadership in putting that letter together and really calling the immigrant community into some kind of unity, which it isn't always, right? I mean, you're still talking about Latino, black folks, and others, Asians and others that are all sort of under the umbrella of immigrants.
Absolutely. We had, again, Odelia, Cielo signed on, Oro, so we have indigenous folks, we have Asian folks, both the East Asian and folks who are Southwest, and we have people that represent Muslim immigrants, various iterations in various nations with respect to the Latino, Latinx community, black immigrants. So we, and brought us all together to say, hey, this is not what we're looking for, because I think as we look at the demographics, we find that a lot of who we have right now in this city are people who are not 2 and 3 and 4 generations. We have a lot of folks that have come in, particularly in black community. 21% of the black community is either foreign-born or someone like me that was born in this country, but our parents were foreign-born. That's 20%, 1 in every 5 black people in the city and the county, same numbers, of Los Angeles. So we got to get with it. Like, we can't just be out here doing whatever we want to do. We are a part of black power, and we've got to figure out how we connect as African Americans and black migrants to fortify black power. But then when we look at other folks, it's the same scenario. You have a lot of foreign folks, but you have a lot of people who are born in this country and who are going to be part and are engaging in this electoral process. And we've got to make sure we're on the same page.
Well, we got about a minute here, Nana Jamfi. Tell us how to track Baji, how to track you, or whatever else you want to say right now.
So you can find me on Twitter at Attorney Nana. You can find Baji again at Baji Tweet, at InstaBaji. You can find us on Facebook. You can also look at our website, baji.org. BAJI is how you spell that acronym. And, I'm just going to encourage folks to get out there, whether you think that you're voting for your champion or like a good martial artist, you're picking your opponent. Either way, you want to pick folks that are in the same universe as you, as talking about alternative universes, and who are moving our people forward. So get out there. You've got some few days left between today and the last day of voting. Get that voting in.
Attorney Nana Jamfi, that's great stuff. And it's always like, I always like to reiterate that, you can vote right now. The vote centers are all open. Early voting is on right this second.
Absolutely. Make it happen. Get out there, folks. Fight, fight, fight. Let's make it happen.
Let's bring 100 people each. Attorney Nana Jamfi, thank you so much. As always, it's fun to talk to you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you for having me.
Time to call me. It's time to call me. 800-920-1580. It's KBLA. Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.